Yeah! Yeah! I'm not yelling.
Damn, flaky.
Okay, Boomer.
What's up, brother?
Yo.
Hey, hey,
How you
hey.
doing? Hey, what's going on? No camera?
It didn't want to work. Hey, there is a very a crappy one. There's my other one that
Dude, that works.
yeah, so I'm gonna work on getting the better one up so I'm not like looking so dark and grim.
It's so good to talk to you. I feel like I haven't spoken with you in ages. You're getting all famous, Mr. 7,000 views. What happened?
Yeah, 444 subs overnight.
Yeah, shorts, man.
Shorts, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, essentially we wanted we just wanted to kind of like make shorts that talk about like random things we had questions about in Star Wars. So we're like, hey, the missus had the idea. Let's talk about the meditation chamber. And apparently like within a couple hours, a couple hundred people wanted to sub from it, and it was just weird. At work it was just blowing up. So I was like, cool, this is awesome.
That's sick, man. Yeah, I remember early on in the morning I had liked it and it had 36 views. I'm like, man, I hope this thing blows up. And I look back, I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
That's
it's
awesome.
Weird. Yeah, it's weird just because, we've just been having fun. And so it was never about the numbers, but numbers are cool.
It's the algo, bro.
That's the algo, man.
Playing with the algo.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yes,
welcome
sure.
to another edition of the Boomer Council. Hello, chat. How's everybody doing tonight? I am super overtired. We did some karaoke last night. I stayed up a little too late. So, I'm going to let you guys kind of lead off on this one if you're cool with it, man. I mean, there's some stuff to talk about. Speak your mind.
Season 2 Bad Batch got announced yesterday. Let's start there. Yeah, like I said, I thought it was gonna. There you go. Better one works. Cha-ching.
Here we go.
Perfect.
In HD.
The stash can be seen in HD.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought that's pretty good news. Another 16 episodes, hopefully. So yeah, I think it's going to get a little dark. Just as they end the season, I think they're going to leave it on some good cliffhangers, and we may see some people like Maul enter the mix and kind of screw things up. Oh, it's gone, and screw things up for him. So we'll have to just wait and see.
I feel like it blew apart almost every theory I had of what was going to be going on. If we're getting a season 2, unless it's just like Omega and 2 of the guys or something and everybody else dies, or it's just Hunter and Omega, but then I feel like it's not the Bad Batch,
I feel like what's going to happen is there's going to be a rescue plan for Hunter, and it's going to go sideways, and they're going to be separated from Omega, and then that's how it's going to end for season 1. And I feel like it's going to be like this big cliffhanger, and and obviously for me personally, I would have liked a little more quicker pacing, some deeper episodes for me. Some of the episodes just weren't for me, but I think they could set things up pretty cool for a season 2.
Are you caught up all the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, we just watch it in the morning. We just stopped making videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just getting too saucy, I guess.
Really? That's the best stuff, man.
Yeah, I was just because the whole point of what we were doing is trying to be positive, and I was like, those filler episodes were starting to get to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, AD completely stopped doing the watch parties. He's like, I don't want to do these anymore. We're finally starting back up again tonight.
Oh, so, cool.
Yeah. So it should
very
be fun.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple filler episodes, but I think in the long run, those filler episodes are going to be more insightful than we think, and that's going to be.
Was that your guitar?
That was the crappy camera.
Yeah, making its own adjustments. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think a lot of those filler episodes are going to have a little more meat on them as we get deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, and as these other shows pop up, you'll see little tidbits go. Oh, I remember that from Bad Batch, and I think we're going to see a lot of that back and forth.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's kind of hard for me with that, like we are rewatching the Clone Wars in chronological order right now, and it's making me like the Clone Wars a lot more. I already liked it, but in chronological order, it makes so much more sense.
Well, yeah, you can't watch it the way they put it out. That's what I've been saying about
Yeah.
Disney needs to get their shit together and say, all right, here's at least a chronological file. So like, they can do the Clone Wars the way that they put it out, and then do like the chronological or the chronicles or something that puts it in order. So you're not having to go season 3, season 1, season 2, season 3, season 1, season 1, season 1, season 4.
And I feel like they could cut some episodes out too, and just be like, "This is the important chronological."
Yeah, like
it's all
literally. I have a list of the arcs.
Yeah,
that I have to watch, like the Clone Wars with, but with the Bad Batch, I'm wondering if it's going to be less chronological, but if it's going to be like, hey, you're watching Mandalorian season 3, you need to go back and watch these episodes, or you're watching the Ahsoka show, you need to go back and watch this. Like, I wonder
absolutely
if they're trying to do that with it, which, it is what it is, but it's, I think part of like the culture we're in, like we binge stuff in its entirety. And so with the Mandalorian, they made that decision to do a weekly basis. And so now it's like, I'll do that, man. I'll actually post it in, I don't know about general, but I'll send it to you privately if other people want it. We can figure it out. I just don't want to dump a massive wall text.
It's also online. It's very, very much available. Just type in Clone Wars chronological, and it'll give you every episode in order.
I found one. There's kind of some different ones, but I found one that I really liked from a Reddit user, the way he broke it down. Because some of them, some people, they got kind of lazy at the end of the list because it's so much typing.
It's a lot.
It is.
It is a lot. Not gonna lie, it is a lot.
Yeah, but
yeah, I mean, it's I would say that all of those episodes are equally as important as the next, and so to try to cut some, it doesn't really do it justice, because even the ones that aren't great have little bits and bobs that are important, right? So I'd say just give us another tab under chronological order. They do it with Marvel. If you go through Marvel, and it's chronological order on how things are laid out. So
you're
give
right.
me that in the Clone Wars. Just have somebody go through and organize it and put it out in that order. You don't have to label it episode, just call it one, go one, and then all the way down. So
how many hours of Star Wars content altogether do we have at this point? Does anybody know?
I know there was that meme where it was like, there was like 66 hours before Bad Batch of stuff, when it was like when 66? The Clone Wars was added and all this, and people were like, it's so beautiful. 66 hours. But I didn't do the math.
That there's no way that can be true.
Just enjoy
66
the
on the dot. 25 hours and 7 minutes to watch all movies.
All movies, yeah.
And then you have shows.
And then you have animation,
shorts.
Now Mandalorian shorts.
Dude, Mandalorian's got to up that runtime quite a bit. Mandalorian is about 11 hours. Clone Wars is 2 days, 18 hours, and 30 minutes.
What's interesting for me...
It's 50 hours of Clone Wars.
Yeah, I don't know what they added to get to 66.
Yeah, we're way above 66.
Yeah.
It might have been an animation, though.
I was just thinking about this. Mandalorian, it had a lot of episodes where it was very similar to Bad Batch, in my opinion, where it's like Din and Grogu go somewhere. There's some crazy thing that happens, right? And they leave the planet. It's kind of this like hopping around.
The video game quest.
Yeah, I honestly was not bothered by it at all. And I don't know, the Bad Batch doesn't bother me. Don't hear it that way. But it is like, I wonder what it is. It just feels a little different. It just feels like maybe it's just the pacing is slower, or there just isn't enough excited. There isn't like Omega doesn't have the same cute factor as Grogu or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
absolutely not, man. That would be
'Cause-
scary if she had the same cute factor.
Well, she talks
Yeah.
also. I mean, there's a huge difference. You can get annoyed
Yeah.
with a character when they speak and how they speak and what they say.
Yeah.
Grogu hasn't said anything. He's just adorable.
I
Oh,
still
yeah,
don't
that's
get
true.
that. I don't get the hate for Omega.
says,
I still don't get it.
Do you want Grogu to talk?
Doesn't matter to me. I mean, yeah, he's got to start learning English at some point.
I kind of like the strong silent types personally.
Mhm. I feel like that's like if they make him sound like Yoda, I feel like that could maybe like lose a bunch of the charm for people
I don't
because
think
they're trying to.
That's a treacherous
it out
path.
But Yoda, Yoda learned how to speak in a time before English were basic was a
Yeah,
thing.
Galactic
Like,
Basic.
he learned at a totally different time. That's why he spoke the way he did. It wasn't because he was unintelligent. It's because that's how he learned all those years ago. So he's like, dude, I'm a rocket. Where Grogu is learning from Luke. So in theory, he should learn basic. He should learn,
It would be kind of cute though. Little baby Grogu, he's looking up at Luke and he's like, "Saber, I make."
Yeah.
like putting the saber together.
I don't think
Just don't do the grunt.
I don't think
Or where that deleted scene where he's like,
yeah, and is whispering in his ear.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a species in dialect. I think it's just how he learned, and so I think it's just going to be if he talks, it's going to be normal. I mean, he's already speaking in, the way he says "Octu" and kind of mutters words. I think he's just still in that infancy stage of his species.
Yeah.
Who's Grogu said Octu?
He says it all the time when he's walking around. He's like, dude, go specifically to the
Did you ever play with Stretch Armstrongs as a kid? Because you're just pulling that thing way apart right now.
"Ba-dum-ts."
all right, fine. You're gonna make.
Are
me do
you
it.
are you
Fine.
watching those like subtitled videos where it's like Grogu subtitled episodes 1 through 8?
So Octu.
No, here you go. I'm gonna give it to you. You want both barrels? Go ahead and continue and talk about
See,
it.
and this is what I was gonna say. If we just heard Yaddle talk, it would be game over right now. We'd know exactly what was going on.
True.
I don't think it's a species. Well, I mean, she was pretty damn old, but she wasn't as old as Yoda, yeah.
No,
Oh,
she
no.
still had color in her hair.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
wasn't.
That gorgeous auburn hair. Oh yeah.
I do think it's funny watching the Clone Wars because it's not really evident in the prequels. It's almost like they give Yoda like male pattern baldness, like he has like so much
Uh-huh.
like tuft hair around, and it's like
100%.
it's like man, I kind of wish he just kept his hair.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see that like I don't know, that aging
Like
Yoda.
The dad in the bowling alley, like perfect stripe around.
Well, I mean, they kind of messed up, from Jump Street with him, with the different fingers and stuff like that. I mean, there's just a couple of little issues that
Did they mess up the fingers in Clone Wars?
they messed up the fingers in the first couple movies.
Mm.
Yoda's fingers.
Oh, did they?
Yoda goes from 3 to 4 or 4 to 3 or something like that when they went from puppet to CG.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the original trilogy. I'm like, there is no way George glossed over that. Although he did gloss over quite a few things.
Okay, so while you guys were chatting, I did some work. I took that note I have and put it into a Google Doc. So I'm going to send that off to Braden, but if people want it, let me know in the chat, and then I can just post it in general so people can have the Clone Wars chronological. You don't have to do the work. You can just be lazy and receive.
Attaboy. Yeah, I mean, it's out there. It's easy to find. I don't think it's on StarWars.com. But yeah, I think, and I know it's out there. I've seen it. I know it's out there.
Oh, okay. So here we go. Matt Rissman. For what it's worth, Yaddle spoke like Yoda in the comics.
Mm.
So it could totally be, I don't want to get too sweaty on it, a species thing.
Yeah, totally.
Behavioral patterns inside the species frontal lobe.
Hold
I
on.
don't know.
I'll be right back.
What color should I do, man? I should have done this before.
I kind of always dig the purple. The purple. I mean, I got the purple in the back too. I don't know.
It's pretty nice.
What's up, Real Talk? How you doing, Hammy? Welcome. We were just talking about male pattern baldness and speech patterns in Yoda species.
That's true.
All really important things here on Boomer Council.
Then it makes my face look all weird. All right, there we go.
Did you find what you were looking for there?
I'll find it. I don't know if it'll be today, but I'll find it. I'm telling you, he says it. At one point, he says Octu. I'm telling you. I can't find. I'll find it. I'll watch the whole show tomorrow if I have to.
Oh,
But it's
Daryl, I am not putting that comment up on the stream.
Yikes.
Yowzers.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think it's really the way that the species talks. I think that it's just more about the time that they learned how to speak. So yeah. Let's see what else is going on. Mandalorian season 3, I think, is done shooting, is what I heard.
No, seriously?
I thought I read an article today. I'll try to find it, but I thought that they were done.
We're such professional YouTubers.
Honestly, I don't read a lot of the news. I don't have a lot of them scoopers. That
I just watched Star Wars Mag. I'm like, hey, did you guys hear? I was on the internet today and found this. Thanks, Mag.
I just see
Yeah.
the headlines and I'm like, okay.
Supposedly there's a Fallen Order 2 because they were talking about a Fallen Order franchise. So in order to have a franchise, you have to have more than one.
Right.
So that is what I heard also, that there's supposed to be a Fallen Order 2 from EA. That I don't know why they wouldn't have announced that at their EA Play. But
I feel like they would have. Yeah, I see. I pull up Fallen Order 2 on Google, and the first article is from May 13th, 2020.
yeah, it was more of a. I'd have to dive deeper, but basically they said the word franchise, meaning that they have
Right.
more in the pipe than they're letting on.
Dude, that thing made money.
Oh, it's still making money. I mean, with the PS5 version out, I think some people that maybe didn't play it before got into it.
Yeah. I got Fallen Order late
There you go.
and played it.
It's a great game. I mean, yeah, I heard they took a little bit from Uncharted as far as gameplay is concerned.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as far as implementing that gameplay into Jedi skill sets, I thought that was super dope.
Yeah.
was cool.
I'm a huge fan of like open world games. I'm not so much on like a Rails adventure, you know.
It was kind of a weird mix, wasn't it? Because it was kind of on the rails, but kind of open world at the same time.
Yeah, it was a good.
Where to go when?
Yeah, like the first time I played, what did I do? I made the wrong decision for the second planet to go to. Did I go to Dathomir?
You went to Dathomir first.
I think so.
Oh,
you
that's a
got-
bad call.
And I was like, why is this so freaking hard?
Yeah.
And then I was looking stuff up online, and I'm like, oh, well, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is stupid expensive, that Star Wars hotel. For a small room with no view, it's like $6,000 for 2 nights during the week.
Yeah. I saw something weird, and I totally was just browsing over it, but I feel like I read it correctly. One of the options was like 2 kids and 3 parents. It's like,
What?
7.
7 parents?
It's like $7,000 for 2 kids and 2 parents or a 2-day pass.
they just had a weird
That's
listing on there.
nuts.
I don't know. So, I mean, it looks cool. Yeah, obviously it's going to be savage, but like, who's buying these? I guess there are probably a lot of rich people out there, and I'm totally judging it, but
Isn't it
make something for the homies, for us. You know what I mean?
Isn't it all sequel themed though?
So far as I know.
Yes.
I mean, if people like that, that's cool. But I mean, I thought merchandising kind of showed like, it seems like they were kind of going back to like OT stuff for their merchandising. So that's a ton of money to dump into like a hotel like that.
The thing is, you can change it. It's not like Star Wars is. They're changing from Star Wars to Marvel. It's not like they're changing complete IPs from one to the other. Eventually, they're going to be able to upgrade it on what's hip. So as
True.
Boba, as Kenobi, as Vader, they can implement these changes as they see fit because it's just a ship, right? In theory. So they just
In
changed.
theory, but I mean, also we don't know really what they did to the inside of the place.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be a ship, right? It's supposed to be a
Yeah.
galactic cruiser.
Yeah.
So they're basically the inside. The only thing you're really changing is maybe the color scheme and the what foot soldier you're using. Are you using clones? Are you using First Order? Are you using TKs? Like, what's the what? Are you using FNs or are you using TKs or are you using CCs? Like, that's the only thing that really changed. And then the main character. Is it Vader, Luke, Obi-Wan? Is it Anakin, Ahsoka, Luke, or Obi? Or is it Rey, Kylo? And you could switch it seasonally if you really wanted to. You know?
What's extremely frustrating for me is that early on fans, I mean, we're talking like, we'll call it 80s and up. They got the original trilogy stuff when it came to like theme parks and big celebrations and all this different cool stuff. And then the sequel trilogy now gets like their own land and all this different cool stuff. What about the prequel kids?
You get nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Well, we got the best movies, but
we have our DVDs.
We have
dick ass DVDs.
Man, those DVDs are so sick.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, it's hopefully Kenobi will bring back some of the OT stuff with some of this, with some of the Anakin flashbacks and stuff. Hopefully Ahsoka also will do some flashbacks to some Clone Wars scenes. I'm hoping we're gonna get I think it would be really cool to do some just size digression with Rosario and do a little bit of Clone Wars stuff with Anakin.
Yeah.
Kind of do some digital sizing with her. So she's a little shorter. Montrals are a little, everything's a little shorter, but then, and use a little bit of age digression on Rosario. And
slap in the face. I'm going to cut that and then send it over to her Twitter.
What's that?
Just making funny.
or use Ashley because she is shorter and she would be a great fit in there because she's done it and the voice would be perfect. Because that's what I would like to see in Ahsoka. I would like to see some Ewan, Hayden, Ashley scenes, right? Whether they're action scenes or campfire scenes, that would be cool stuff to show flashback and to give us some of that Clone Wars stuff and bring it to the forefront, the prequel stuff, and bring it to the forefront.
I just feel like her voice is so gnarly different when we get to Mando.
But it matures. Yeah. I mean, that's so many years after too. When we see her with Anakin, she's still a puppy. She's still a kid. She's not a full-grown woman. And even those just like guys, voices change over time. And so I feel like it would play well to something that happened 20 years ago, maybe.
Bro, oh my God, Bayou, I'm going to check it out right now. I've gotten 16 messages from Bayou while we started this. Oh, man, he's got a lot of stuff. Oh, it's the itinerary for the... Man, this is cool. I got a scooper sending me stuff here. Why are you sending me Doctor Who? I don't want to watch any Doctor Who. Oh, wait, no. What if director and head writer reveal what it will take to get... What?
Oh, the Marvel Star Wars crossover thing.
Oh, yeah. No.
I don't see that happening.
Although, when I did see that they released the what if thing for Marvel, I was super pissed.
Really?
Because it looked awesome. And I'm like, they're getting that and we're getting visions. The what if looked sick. I'm not even a Marvel guy, but the what if looked amazing.
Right,
and
but
then,
they already have an open universe to do the multiverse at this point. Star Wars doesn't really have that. Yeah, they have the world between worlds, but it hasn't been exploited enough to really do what they're doing in Marvel. Right? Marvel's seen it. You saw it in Ant-Man. You saw it in Endgame. You saw it like you're seeing the multiverse in a lot of their IP, in a lot of their property already. We haven't seen enough multiverse stuff, so I would think that it would take a while for us to catch up, Star Wars to catch up to Marvel, to be able to do some multiverse stuff as well as what if is going to be.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. But I'm a whiny, sweaty Star Wars fan. I want it now.
Give me
Yeah,
the
I mean, you got, look, man, it's August. You got what? You got 3 months, 3.5 months.
The longest 3 months of my life.
Be patient. Patient, you must be.
Yeah, I ain't a Jedi, bro. I spin wrenches for a living. Give me some content.
Must.
I'm looking forward to covering Visions just because it's so out of my wheelhouse. It's interesting. You know what I mean? I can really objectively look at it without any rose-colored glasses. You know what I mean?
Well, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. That's anime. That's it. You either really like it or you really don't. There's no real. I haven't found any neutral ground. Styles. There's a couple different kind of styles when it comes to anime. So you may like one of the Vision things and not the other because of style.
Right.
Because there's several styles of anime. So I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna look at it for what it is. See if I like any of the stories. I did like the art look of the more samurai Jedi, the more samurai looking lightsaber. I kind of dug that. It actually reminded me of the Darksaber a lot.
Right, that kind of katana look.
Yeah, and
I like the one where it's like they showed like the Tusken Raiders, and it was like all black and white, and it was super gritty looking. Like it just looked like it'd be super intense. Like the Ghibli Studio stuff, I don't know, it feels like it might be a little disconnected from Star Wars. Like it'd have to be a really good story for it to make sense for me. And I know it's not canon supposedly, but like Boba's in it and Jabba the Hutt, which is weird. But
And don't forget Anakin Naru.
really
Yeah.
crazy.
well,
Can
like
you
I
watch
said,
that again?
watch whatever you want.
I want to watch it. I only watched it
The
once.
trailer?
Yeah.
I just
Kinnaru?
Anakin Naru. I think I paused it there. I was like, is this entirely necessary?
Yeah, I think the one that is the most Japanese. I kind of like the way that they kind of sheath their hilts and how they carry their lightsabers like a samurai sword and like a shuto blade. I kind of dug that, and it feels very Star Killer, very Ahsoka, very Two Saber samurai, which I dig.
Okay. Let's give this damn thing a try again. We can pick this thing apart or just blow right through it. It's whatever. Oh. Okay, so I wanted to look at that frame right there.
It'll
R2's
take
got.
forever. Every 2 seconds you can be like,
I was just
hold
no. R2's got like a farming hat on.
He's
just-
farming. He's out there farming.
Did you see Bosk? He actually looked cool as shit right there.
Tall as hell.
Look at Gonk. Gonk's got like straw wrapped around him.
So here's a question. Just off this frame alone, and I know there are the other characters that we know. This is a non-canon story,
Right.
but they are having canon characters.
Correct.
So
I mean,
I
look,
just feel
there's
like that's
Sebulba.
It's a boba.
I feel like, I mean, I guess that is like the what if territory. But it's, I don't know. I'm not negative about it. I just think it's an interesting decision by Disney to be like, we want to create new stuff, but we don't want it to be canon.
Right.
You know, even with Marvel, with like they are doing stuff, but it's just interesting.
And that's the bottom of a First Order Stormtrooper helmet right there.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's
Star
keep
Wars
rolling.
Visions is going to be an
What?
Astro
That's
Boy.
that.
exciting
That's
anime anthology
Astro
series
Boy.
coming to Disney Plus in September. Japanese animation inspired a lot of the people at Lucasfilm over the years. We loved the idea of seeing Star Wars expressed in that way.
Each one of these studios that we approached, we found hardcore Star Wars fans. They all had a story.
I've got issues here.
This is very Dragon Ball.
What was that? Like Jax or something?
Yeah,
Jackson?
totally different.
Yeah, but
Jax.
it's just very, very similar. Yeah.
Have you seen a picture of Jax? That's not a cute, sweet little bunny. That is one ugly mugga-fugga.
They wanted to tell.
初めてスター・ウォーズの企画って言ってるもあれなんかこのような夢の
Okay, I
よう
thought I
なこ
saw
と
it
が
right
でき
there.
るのかなっていうふうにはちょっと思
Oh, it's Akakiri. It's not Anakuru.
Fake news.
Fake news.
いましたね。
Watch it show up.
ついに来たなと。もう待ってました。
This is the one I
その
like.
時の提案の内容が、
See, yeah, this one looks cool. It's kind of like gritty and gnarly
これ
and
スター・ウォーズでこれ
yeah. Look at
Even with
Boss,
Boss,
bro.
dude. This is gonna be
Sebulba.
nuts. This one is going to be so. Hopefully, it's as gritty as it looks. Like, oh, I've never seen this. He has a freaking Gatling gun. Look at that.
Oh shit, yeah, that's the OG Macquarie 3PO.
Yeah, and then that. I don't know what species that is, but he's got like a bayonetta.
Oh, what is the name of that species? God,
I'm terrible at species.
I know. I still haven't made that video. I made 3 iterations of it, and I deleted every single one of them. Starts with a T, I
や
want
っ
to
ていい
say.
のかっていうなんか面白いものだったんで、
We were looking for something from the heart and soul of the individual creators. They are
Yeah, see, like this doesn't interest me as much.
their visions through the lens of Star Wars.
There are so many genres at play, big and bold, romantic and sweeping, funny, comedic.
で、この作品独自の、ところスタイルとして
That's
は
gonna be
ロッ
interesting.
クオペラということで、
A rock opera.
Did I just see the title of that correctly? It's not a Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a Tatooine Rhapsody.
Yeah. So I mean, that means it's a Star Wars musical.
日本の山岳文化みたいなことをしっかり描けたらな。
I feel like this one could be cool too.
国境の双子がどう生まれてこれがどうなるのかというのが基本的な設定ですね。
ナイトセーバーって子供の夢が詰まったガジェットだと思うんですよね。
The Ninth
でそれをさらに今回僕はもうちょっと和のテイストみたいなものを。
Is that Ray Speeder? Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
We tried to have some retro vintage feeling. We couldn't skip the Astro Boy influence.
TOB1, so his name's Toby.
Astro Boy.
どちらかといえ
Toby
ば
will
自
probably be cute.
Yeah.
分は最初象徴的な、
Ugh.
まあさっき言ったように、まあ人間の姿をしてない主人公にしたかった。
Why does that bother
スター
me?
ズ
It
みたいな時
shouldn't.
代劇を作りたい。まあ、スタート
Doesn't
まだ
bother
ワ
me
ン
bothers me.
が
It's
未知の
weird that like grown men are drawing that. I don't
ってい
know.
うお話ですね。
Don't pull at
本
that
当に最
thread.
後はスター・ウォーズあれば、まあ、本
Don't pull it what?
Don't pull at that thread.
だったなとは思う。
We
We're
feel
three
so
grown men
fortunate
talking
to
about
be
a
working with these
fantasy man.
filmmakers.
Yeah, right.
There's so many opportunities to reflect Japanese
That was
Boba.
hardcore Boba, wasn't it?
It is Boba.
That's definitely Boba.
Japanese storytelling in a Star Wars universe.
Star Wars Visions is completely different than everything else in Star Wars storytelling. Audiences will fall in love with it.
The duel. So what I'm curious about is this being propositioned as an alternate universe in Star Wars, or is it Star Wars stories told through the vision of anime, but it's non-canon? You know, that's what I'm thinking. Because if it's an alternate universe where it's like, okay, this doesn't affect everything that exists right now, then it's like, okay, but we still have those main characters, maybe not main, but side characters showing up. But then if it's real stuff that's just outside of the Skywalker saga, it's kind of like, how can you have like Boba and Jabba and Bosk and these people show up and it not affect continuity and canon, you know?
Because it's they're
It's make a believe.
It's one-off stories. That's all. They're just.
I'm just curious. I'm honestly not really bothered by it. I'm excited for the duel, in particular. That one looks really cool to me.
Yeah.
The rest of them kind of neutral on it. I'll check it out, but I'm not
just super down with a bunch of Star Wars stories that aren't canon. I mean, I loved The Force Unleashed. That was absolutely one of my favorite Star Wars stories. Totally non-canon.
Well, I mean, these stories are going to be different. These stories are going to, obviously there's going to be some cool Boba stuff. There's going to be some cool lightsaber battles. But I think this is just a good segue into what's coming. I mean, they're giving this to us in September. They're giving us a taste of something new. Some people may love or hate it, but it gets either way. It gets a conversation about Star Wars happening in September at the end of 2021, leading us into December when Boba's going to knock the socks off of the world, and they're just going to proceed on and kick ass and take names in 2022. So
you think Boba's going to be the big one?
Boba's going to be the start. I don't think he's the big one. I think Kenobi is the big one. I think Kenobi is the one everybody's waiting for and looking forward to. And I think Boba is anticipated, but I think Kenobi is the most anticipated out of everyone. So yeah, I think I think it's going to kick off with Boba. I think people are excited about it. The story's new. It's nothing old, so we're not going back into breaking canon. This is all fresh meat, and they're going to give us a lot of flashbacks, but those flashbacks are going to be more of him telling a story or something that is connected to what he's doing in real time.
Right.
Maybe a duel. He has a duel with somebody that shows up, and we get that Cad Bane scene in live action because he's sitting there getting ready to draw his pistol, and he takes a memory. It goes memory flashback for just a second of the Cad Bane duel, and then boom, he kills the guy that's trying to take the throne or whatever. So I think that kind of stuff is going to really blow people's minds because we're going to get to see stories of the now, but we're going to get to see how he became the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy, right? Like how this kid, this clone, no one really knew. I mean, there were a couple that knew, but how this clone became, the most feared man in the galaxy. I wonder if they're going to focus more on why he's no longer the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. Now he's kind of this changed man when it comes to the new paint on his armor and stuff like that. Seems the same. He took out he took that throne like it was nothing. Like no qualms there. I'm like, oh, Boba, it's good to see you, Boba. Pow, you're dead. Get off my throne. He didn't even bother to move his body. He just literally peeled him off the seat and said, get out of here. This is mine now. Old habits die hard. Right? And then Fennec comes and grabs his good liquor and they start drinking and partying, So I think that's a lot of how we're gonna get to see how he's still a badass. He just took a vacation. Yeah. And maybe let some old debts, flutter away, and let a lot of people die, and then now is ready to make his resurgence and continue to be the baddest man in the galaxy. What do you think about this?
Mm-hmm. What is this for? For Bad Batch? Mace reveal?
No, Boba.
Oh, for Boba. So can you pull it back up? Mace reveal at the end, post scene, like Gideon in season 1 with the Darksaber.
How do YouTubers keep up with chats? My God.
What happens when you get all these followers, guy? When you're like me, you got like 10 people. It's easy. It's easy to keep up. YouTube big ballers get in there, and it's like you can't keep up. So, I mean, that would be cool if he shows up, posts, end scenes. I don't know. I kind of would rather see him show up in Kenobi.
Kenobi? Or isn't it more pertinent for him to come back in Boba?
But this is the first season of Boba. I think all of this happening, I think it would be cool to see Mace maybe come back in Kenobi as he's not dead, and then we see him in Boba season 2, he didn't die at the Emperor's hand.
God damn, dude, I don't want to see that. I feel like, and this is saying a lot for me, and then
saying it could happen.
What I'm saying it, and this is really hard for me to say. Some of these characters, it's time. You know what I mean? It's time for these stories to end. And like shit, that's tough though. It would be cool to see 2 seasons of Boba, but at the same time, like I'm kind of ready for this new kind of band of bandits to explore their story. You know what I mean? And that's saying a lot. Like Boba Fett's my homie. Mace Windu, I want to see that guy back 100%. Like I want to see Luke. I want to see all that stuff, but I want to see them given the Viking funeral they deserve. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready for that.
Can you pull up Darth Arlena's comment? That one. I like that, but I am a firm believer that R2 saved Grogu while Anakin was destroying the temple.
And put him in his belly.
Put him in a ship, program the ship to take off and go somewhere.
He was at Padme's apartment.
No, he was didn't he fly? Yeah, no, he said bye to R2 when he was with Anakin the whole time, wasn't he?
No, because Anakin went in speeder over to the temple, and then he was with 3PO at Padme's apartment. And well, this is just the novelization. I don't know if the novelization is 100% canon or not.
No.
But it's not?
Not Disney canon.
Oh, well then throw that out the window.
I would, that's my theory on that, is because he looked, Grogu was a little hesitant in Mandalorian to just go with Luke, but when R2 saw him, R2 got real excited, and Grogu kind of dropped his guard and was like, "Oh, I'm ready. Let's go. You got my dog here. Let's go." I remember him.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Octo," and they're like, "Oh, all right, that's where we gotta go for sure."
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna post this exact conversation in it when I find it.
Do it.
Do it. But yeah, that's kind of my belief. Just the way that he reacted to R2 and Mandalorian, it just seemed like he owed him a little bit. R2 was with Anakin when they went to Mustafar because that's the last time R2
stay in the ship.
He said, "Stay with the ship."
Yeah, Vori. Sorry to dogpile on you. That one's true.
I know that because that's the reason that R2 never leaves Luke and why he puts Luke in a couple compromising situations. Because Luke says, "Stay with the ship."
All right,
And
Chase, stop talking. Would you?
R2's like, "No." We're taking drinks, so Chase can talk.
You know, I don't know. I'm gonna circle back to all this about Grogu. I'm just interested. So Bad Batch was declared, so to speak, a single season show.
Right.
And then they're like, "Hey, by the way, we have a second season." I wonder if they're like, "We didn't tell the story we wanted to in one season, so we're going to have a second season." Or I wonder if it's like, "Hey, we really had 2 seasons the whole time." I'm curious about that because then when we're talking about things like, okay, how does Grogu exist in the canon with his age? And you have all these questions like Ahsoka, right? And we have all these shows coming out where we're like, okay, we're going to get answers to questions. I wonder if they're going to explicitly answer them or if there's just going to be so much new stuff. They're just going to kind of like skirt around some stuff, you know?
Right.
I just don't know because I feel like I think they didn't anticipate Grogu to be popular. Like they've even said that Grogu took them by surprise. And
really,
I don't see.
Yeah,
I don't see how that happened.
They just thought it would be like, oh, this is cool, and then it blew up. And so I honestly wonder if there was a backstory or if they're like, oh shoot, now we've got to make a backstory. How does it fit? I'm just curious if it was like, we'll just let the sweaties just kind of figure it out on their own. But now everybody, like even brand new people are like, wait, how does Grogu fit in to the picture? You know, with the movies, where was he? All of this. Because people are going back now and rewatching stuff.
Yeah, they're looking for stuff.
And so I just wonder if there was a plan. Yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. That's what I've been thinking about. Because it's like, there's a bunch of theories I've seen and they all have their strengths, but then they also kind of have their plot holes. And so it almost feels like I thought the Bad Batch was going to save Grogu because I thought it was like, you have to have this foreign group come in. And I thought the Bad Batch would end tying into Mandalorian with them being Well, I didn't know it would go so far. I thought we would see something with Grogu. I didn't know it'd start with Order
Right.
66 and skip immediately past it. I thought before we knew what was going on that we would see them save Grogu and they would die off. So it made sense of like, okay, we see him pop up, they answer some plot holes, so to speak, then they die, and it makes sense. Continuity. But now with the direction of Bad Batch, I was like, I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, it totally threw a wrench in my like thought process of where this was going again.
Yeah.
Some might say they've subverted my expectations.
Well, I mean, what if we see? I mean, what if they actually wrote the Bad Batch to be hour-long episodes?
As long as they are like episode 1 and I think the last episode. I'm kind of having a hard time even remembering what the last episode is about, to be honest with
The
you.
last episode was War Mantle. Last episode was Gregor.
Yeah.
That last episode was dope.
They went to the
That was
Imperial
good.
base, and we got
Yeah, I like
Scorch.
that one. I like that one.
Hunter got Scorch.
Hunter, you know,
Hunter got spoiled.
I think if it was, I mean, at this point, if you haven't seen it, I mean, I don't know.
This
But-
is not. Yeah.
yeah, you're on the wrong stream. I
You're
guess, but,
definitely on the wrong one.
Sorry, guys. And didn't spoiler alert.
I mean, we're an episode ahead almost, but I think an hour-long episode of Bad Batch would work if it was less of somebody in somewhere in X-Wing. They said something about like your Discord. They said like, oh, it's the same exact formula where it's like, hey, like we're on a mission from Sid, and Omega's like, oh, but we've got to help this person out, and now I'm sad, and it's like, okay, okay, kid, we'll do it, but stay on the ship. And then Omega leaves, and at the end they get payday and move on. And I felt like there was there's some cool stuff, but I felt like there's a lot of recycling of that.
Right.
And so I would be totally down for hour-long episodes if like
It drove the story forward.
yes. And if we
Yeah.
had more of Gregor's chuckle, if we had his laugh coming in. I did, but I couldn't remember what it was about.
Ooh, Mama Dunn called you out on a stream.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care about that Bad Batch episode. I don't care about
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I would. As far as next season, I mean, I could see. I mean, they're talking about May 4th, so that's a lot of time to get in the edit and snip it up and get it ready for May, right? Because that's what I was seeing. May 4th. Is that what they're doing next year for May the 4th?
They're doing what?
Is that the release date I saw, or
I haven't seen any release dates.
Mm-mm.
I've seen fan theories about like you're gonna have Book of Boba, and then people were thinking Kenobi, and then I think then people were thinking like Bad Batch, and then Mando in the winter. So that's kind of the progression I saw.
Jocasta knew.
They'll do
Yeah,
the big
I
ones
think
in
so.
winter.
I think Jocasta knew could do it.
She technically died on her. I mean, we'll see what they do, but technically she died going back to save the younglings. So she
I slaughtered her like multiple times.
Yeah, she went off site, kind of like Cordova, and she kind of saw something coming. She saw the dark cloud coming, and so she actually set up a archive from what they were talking about, and or from previous stuff. We'll see how that comes out, and that she set up an archive for the Jedi that survived to be able to still learn. And then she went back to get students, and she got towed up. So,
Jocasta knew.
Yeah. The reason I've seen some theories, and I'm not like super well versed in this, but on a prior stream, we pulled up the lightsaber rifle.
Yeah,
In the
it was
Vader comic, she pulls it out. So she knew about all of the secret stuff, like in the archives.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen some people who are really into the comics, like make semi-convincing arguments about how it's like they could easily like use a narrow window to be like, okay, took care of Grogu, But then it's like,
Right.
then you have to answer the question, how is he at the Jedi Temple and only a select few knew about him, and like there's just a lot
Well,
again where you create this like
I think because
bubble.
he's Yoda species. I think
That's why Yoda said it. A prophecy misread we may have, because he's got his secret apprentice, right? And then Joe Costanu shoves him down a tunnel, and little Grogu like walks onto the street of Coruscant, and Maul just like, or not Maul, I'm sorry, Mace just and hits the ground right next to Grogu, and they're like, oh yeah, what's that, Pommy? Like,
Oh,
you
let me
force
go
go
right
around
around
the universe.
Steal your arm real quick. I
Yeah.
mean, even though it got sliced by a lightsaber, so it's already cauterized. You're good, dog. But it's all
Yeah.
good. Of course, heal your
Right.
feelings.
It's 100% what's going to happen.
So
Somebody capture that.
The picture of Grogu holding the lightsaber, I haven't seen anything from the bigwigs. I saw that one today. In fact, I think I have it. I had it up.
Are you talking about the ignited one?
Yes.
Yeah.
One that looks like
Was that
lightsaber.
was that like official?
No, that is just.
Well, neither is the other one. It's just sanctioned by Lucasfilm.
Well, the other one isn't. I mean, if it went through Lucasfilm, it went through everybody at Story. They
Right.
didn't just stamp it. I mean, it went to Filoni's desk and he made a decision. So I feel like it's not like this poster, but
That's what I'm saying. That one, that's not like a confirmed story element. This is something that we're going to see. It's just sanctioned by Lucasfilm.
It's just sanctioned by the story department. Right.
I get it though, but it's like, but why would they? They're so tight on what they want released. Why would they let that be
I totally
released?
agree with that.
Can you pull up Padawanabe's? I don't know if you did. I wasn't paying attention.
And Luke,
Oh, I must have missed it. Let me go back.
Luke did pick up a yellow saber at one point, and used it, and then we never saw it again. So I don't think that's going to happen. They're fighting with Rex right now. They're busy. But yeah, I think that Luke had this crystal, and Ilum is gone with Starkiller Base. So yeah, I mean, you can find, Lothal had crystals, and
Apparently, you could dive Endor and just find all the kyber you would ever need in your entire life because it all fell down on the planet.
right. So I mean, there's a bunch of different ideas of where to get crystals, but maybe that's the one that he started with, kind of like Luke's green one that was or was not Qui-Gon Jinn's.
Yeah, let's pull up the other poster. Do you have it handy? Because I don't have it.
You
currently.
him I will.
How funny would that be if Grogu and R2 got in a fight and Grogu just starts like beating R2 with a stick? He's like,
Oh.
I'm not going through this again.
Oh.
I don't have that new poster is not anywhere I can find it.
I just saw it.
I don't think it was like a poster though. I think
No,
that's
I think-
why.
I think yeah, it wasn't like
It's
a
just like
poster.
fan art.
It was basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I I don't have a thought neither here nor there. If it's a yellow saber dope, they could be rope-a-doping us. Filoni likes the rope-a-dope. He likes to play the magician. He's like, look what's over here, while he's putting the card in your pocket,
He's doing this and then he hits you.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm over here. Wow. Right. So I could see this being a little bit of Dave Filoni rope-a-dope, and saying, that's not the color the saber's actually going to be, kind of like what he did with Ahsoka in season 7.
Right.
Those were green and yellow going into the book, and then he changed them for season 7, which is totally cool.
The yellow saber has always been like the token of the Guardian, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the yellow has always been the Guardian, and when we look at Grogu and everything that he's done in all these episodes, it's always been the Guardian. Even when he was choking people out, he was guarding Mando.
True.
When he picked up the Mudhorn, he was guarding Mando. When he force healed, he was protecting he's never been like really an offensive. Even when the Flame Trooper came in, he was just guarding them by pushing the flames back. Now, he might have force pushed those flames back at the end of that and incinerated the incinerator, but you get what I'm saying?
I think he did, yeah.
He's the Guardian type.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I mean,
So true.
it's I would love to see him gathering his own crystal in live action. I would love to see a Jedi temple or a Lothal type of place, or a Ilum, another cave where he can do his own gathering, and
Like
find
Luke takes him to
crystal.
like another planet that has kyber crystals on it.
Luke at this point has been looking all through the galaxy for any Force artifacts, right? Like he's literally feeling out with the Force to find anything Force related, anything Jedi or Sith. He's looking for artifacts, specifically some of Palpatine's artifacts.
Yeah.
So for me, if he's out looking for this stuff and he finds another Ilum, another place where there's just a high concentration of kyber, where he takes Grogu, I would love to see a gathering live action with Grogu, and Grogu picking his own crystal, and it happened to be in yellow. That would be awesome for me. If they don't do it and it just happens to be an old Sentry lightsaber that Luke had acquired for Grogu to start, I did have a theory that I mentioned. I think it was with Patrick on the poster giveaway stream, about the poster image. So the one we've all seen of Grogu building and Luke holding the yellow.
Right.
I have a theory that Grogu is actually showing Luke how the Jedi put their crystals together before there was no one to teach. Because Luke, we saw tweak his mechanically.
Right.
Anakin, when he wanted to tweak his lightsaber, he would put it up in the air, disassemble it with the Force, make his tweaks, and then put it back together. So maybe my thought is maybe that's Grogu teaching Luke how they manipulated their kyber crystals during the time of the Jedi Order on Coruscant. What do you guys think of that action?
I mean, I could see it, but I don't know that I like it too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I like it, because that's like,
You don't like a master learning from somebody that was alive during the Jedi Order, that was taught the old ways? You don't like Luke learning?
yeah,
anything?
maybe something else though. I mean, he's the Grandmaster right
Yeah,
now.
That doesn't bother me too much.
That's a lot of ego for
it's
a
more
Grandmaster.
so of like Grogu's backstory that we don't like. The vibe I'm getting from Grogu is that his whole past was he was hidden, and there was something about him where he was concealed, and that's kind of that mystery is why we don't see him in a pre-existing content. Granted, he was not a thought, right? But
Well, I mean,
to
that's
make
the
him
same thing.
fit,
The same thing could be said about Ahsoka in the OG trilogy and even the prequels. Like, where was she during any of this? She wasn't conceived back then, but she came in a big important part based on her journey. I feel like they could do a Cal Kestis with kind of story with Grogu. As Luke is training him, he's learning and reacquiring abilities, and eventually gets back all of his abilities that he had when he left the temple. So, I mean, I just kind of feel like there's a lot of, and even Ahsoka says it, he was trained by many of the masters, right? Many of the masters trained him. So he's got a lot of knowledge in there. He's just broken himself like Cal Kestis or like Luke in the sequels. I hate to bring it up. Disconnected him. He's disconnected from the Force. So he has to reattach. And I feel like it could be a lot like they did Cal Kestis in Fallen Order. Like he's got to relearn these things. He
has to repair his connection to the Force. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Yeah, for sure. But also, I mean, like building a saber is also like a rite of passage and graduation from being a Padawan. And I think for sure he's still 100% a Padawan. Like beyond a Padawan. He's a baby.
Well, he's a baby. He's a baby to us, but he's 50. I mean, in his species, that's only what? I mean, 50 is 1/18 of his life. So I mean, it's still a considerable amount of time. I mean, yes, it is probably about the time he would have been a Padawan to somebody before the Purge. So maybe the adventures we see is Luke training him, but I think we're going to get the finish. I don't think we're going to get the journey. I think we're going to get the present packaged, signed, sealed, delivered, and him at that rite of passage when we see him in Mandalorian. Unless they give us a Luke and Grogu show.
I just want to see Leia. walk up to little baby Grogu and pick him up, like, "Hello, little one," and then they have like a really quick little training session or something. It'd be so cool. I want to see Jedi Leia so bad, dude.
I don't think you're going to see her. I think that time passed already. I think she's already on her path to becoming a great general and a great senator and all that, and a politician. I think her journey's already over by this time. It's 5 or 6 years after the Death Star. She trained for just a little while before she gave up her saber, and became a politician.
Yeah. As much as I want to see that too, like I really, really want to see that. I do side with Obsession. Even
I'm quitting.
I know, right? I think that's the first time I've ever said that, even though I agree with you quite a bit.
So happy. I think I'm
but from what I've understood, the canon Leia books make it very clear that what we saw in whatever movie she had the short training, there's not much more than that, and she very quickly put it aside and renounced all of that.
Wasn't
So
that
I think
trials? Wasn't that her going through the trials, and then right during her trial, she was like, "Whoa, I just had a force vision. Like, I can't do this," and she gave up her saber.
I'm not sure about specifics, but I do know that they made it very clear, like over and over, that it's like it's never coming back. And I think if they went to that extent to have books about it, I don't think they're.
I mean, it had to have gone on for a little while for her to be proficient in saber combat, build her own saber.
Yeah,
I think
She beat Luke.
I think 5-6 years is a long time though for somebody with that kind of skill set getting trained by somebody like Luke. I think without the interruptions of the dark side, she gets nothing but training. There's no running and hiding anymore, really, for that 5 years. I mean, a little bit, but really, they're feared. Luke is the most feared thing in the galaxy right now. Look what he did to Moff Gideon. Like, Moff Gideon wanted to off him.
He tried to kill himself.
Straight off himself to not have to deal with Luke Skywalker. Like, that dude was feared. That green saber was fear incarnate.
Yeah.
And so I feel like being uninterrupted training for 5 years with Luke and Leia, especially considering that they kind of whispered that she would be more powerful and a little bit easier to train. Maybe some Force Ghost meditation sequences where she's getting, talked to by Obi-Wan and Yoda and stuff like that. I could see her training accelerating because there's no distractions of a war or of a rebellion. And then after 5 years, like maybe it just happened. Maybe Leia just left, and that's why he had so much time to come get Grogu, right? Maybe it just she just left her training because he looked very much at that same age range as that sequence,
Yeah, that's true.
So it could have just happened like within a year, and Luke's off looking for artifacts, and he feels the presence of somebody as strong as Grogu, and he's like, "Oh, I got to go get this kid," and starts his new school. Because you got to give
this that right there was so important. What Jaden Vroor brought up, and I think because even in A New Hope, you see that the Imperial officers don't respect Vader, and basically he was kind of seen as just like a henchman, to Tarkin. And by the time you get to Episode 6, Vader's a bad dude. Everybody fears him. And so he built up this reputation, and then Luke not only bests him, and Luke is part of defeating Palpatine and all of this, and then Luke's the victor. It's like I think that's why it's so sensitive to touch Luke and to make him less than, and I think that's we don't even need to go down that whole trail, but I think that is really important. It all just leads one place. But have they? So I think with Grogu, since we keep bringing him up, Luke's first apprentice or his first student in canon, as far as I know, is Ben Solo. But then obviously this is like an old conversation, but then we have the issue with Grogu coming into the picture, and I know that's where people start talking about Filoniverse and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think we'll see Grogu at all this whole next year. I think they're gonna.
What?
I don't think so. I think by the time season 3 rolls around of Mando, they're going to leave. Maybe we'll get a tease of him at the end, but I think they're trying to figure out how things work, and we're seeing this resurgence with like now we're getting the Luke behind the scenes, you know, and
Well, why did they hire the guy who did the deepfake for Luke?
I mean, obviously they're doing. It has to be for Luke.
And if they're,
he's talented.
If Luke's going to be somewhere, the kid's going to be there. Can you imagine
I
if
think
Luke
that's-
showed up without Grogu and saw like Mando? Mando would be like, "Where's the child? Where is he?" It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, but I do you think they would do a Luke Skywalker show or short or?
I don't think a show. I think he could be a fairly prominent character in a show, but it would be short scenes, if that makes sense. So he'd be super important, but it would be short scenes.
I feel like the problem with Luke, though, is like you bring him back. They didn't have to. Let's just say that. They didn't have to bring him back in Mandalorian, but they did. But then I feel like for people are trying to connect these two dots that we have.
Right.
You know, we have this Luke, and it's like, how does it connect? And I feel like them bringing him back up just created more of this hunger. I mean, like, how does this all work? And so I'm just now with the hiring of that deep fake artist and all this, it's like they've got to be up to something, trying to close the gap and to
I
make
feel like
sense of things.
the deep fake guy isn't for Mandalorian. I don't think he's for Luke right now. I think that guy is could potentially be being brought in for some Kenobi, Anakin, some Hayden and Ewan flashbacks to make them
Okay.
better.
Makes sense.
I think that's a little more pressing. I could see it for Tamora being Boba in some flashbacks, maybe Finnick, and showing a little bit of their history. So I think there's a lot of room. Maybe even some Ahsoka flashbacks using Rosario with Anakin. So I think there's a lot of room, not just for them. I think the reason he got hired was because of his awesome Luke deepfake.
Really
but I feel like it's fantastic. It does need some work. There are some little issues with the speaking, but I think him with a team of Lucasfilm animators and all the people that they work with, it's going to be a slam dunk. But I really don't think all of that is for Luke right now. I think the reason that he got hired is because they're going into post on a lot of these shows with Kenobi, with Boba, with Ahsoka, and all these other shows. So I feel like it could be more for that, more of the flashbacks we see there, more of the Hayden and Ewan flashbacks in Kenobi. I think is a more pressing deep fake than Mando down the road.
I hear that. I mean, we're getting to the point now where, kind of like what you touched on, either Filoni is going to have to play some, Filoni and Favreau are going to have to play some serious 4D chess to try to figure out how to tie these things together, or it's a separate timeline.
I think they're already tying it together. I think that's why we're getting more Bad Batch. I think that's why we're getting all these shows. I think the connective tissue that we're going to see at the end of this stuff is going to be the magician's going to pull the shade back, and we're going to see what was really behind the curtain. And it's not a fake back there. It's two guys playing 4D chess, and 4D chess many moves ahead of everybody. So I think the roller coaster's coming, and people aren't really prepared for what these guys have in action.
I got you.
You know,
Thanks,
there's a duality I have within me. One side is like, I so want it to be really good. It's still like, we've had this conversation. I'm still probably not going to change my opinion on 7, 8, and 9. But if they make good connections, cool. There's just part of the story I don't like. But then that's the positive side of me. Semi-positive, I suppose. The
That was
duality,
pretty positive, bro. That was pretty positive.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. The more negative side of me is like I don't want them to be like ta-da, and they like pull it out and it's like 2x4s duct taped together, and there's some like solid pieces, and then there's some other stuff where it's like, oh, that feels like a little like
let down.
Stretch Armstrong,
Yeah.
like.
And they're like, look what we made, and you're like, that's
I don't think
shit.
it would be. I don't think it would be like trash, but I just wonder if there's a point where you just let, if there's certain things where it's like we've got to like go into overtime to make it work. I would almost rather have a mystery and have fan theories, and maybe start exploring some things in books and comics and kind of put feelers out, like piece by piece, because they do have a risky job. I mean, so much has changed when everything's changing hands, and the reality is a lot of people did get upset over Star Wars, out of all things. But it is just kind of like it could go really, really well and, help some people, or it could make things worse. And that's kind of what I'm like. I don't know which direction it's going to go. I'm very hopeful, though. I am hopeful for the future.
Well, I'm super pumped on what they're going to come out with now.
Yeah.
Stuff that we have already coming.
Yeah.
I'm slightly nervous just about Kenobi still. I change day to day. I wake up in the morning and I'm super pumped about Kenobi, and about lunchtime I'm like, God, I hope they don't fuck this up. And then by dinner time I'm like, dude, Kenobi's going to be so sick. I'm so excited. So that changes day to day. But if we've got middle ground positive, I can go ahead and be the other side of the battery and be a little negative. I really hope they use the World Between Worlds to create two timelines. I don't see how it hurts anybody, and it opens up an entire new pathway for us to explore an alternate way that things could have happened. You know what I mean?
They could do both? Like,
100%.
Why could they, like, let's just say they keep developing this route. So it's like a choose your own adventure. Maybe they won't market it like that, but it's like, hey, there's this, and because of World Between Worlds, or however they want to spin it, it goes this direction. And, you could at some point have clashes coming together, and maybe the big bad is trying to bring alternate timelines together. Some crazy, like, what? Like, I can't even understand it, Like,
yeah, I don't want to
be
see
done.
them trying to bring timelines together. You know what I mean? I mean, theoretically, you could still have Palpatine be the baddie. There's the dang poster.
Well, what if it was like this? Instead of trying to bring everything together, what if it was like there's the one timeline where Palpatine's dead and all of this, and like a big bad is like, I'm going to try and somehow create this like wormhole to bring him over here. And it doesn't work, but you're just like aware of these two realities, but they don't actually touch. Like, I'm just trying to think how they could do it in a way where people aren't like, where it's not just like, hey, we have two groups of people who like our content and we have to make stuff for both of them.
Well, one would get drowned out by the other eventually, because investors are only going to put money into one that money's going to create.
True.
So the harder decision for them is if what they're putting out now is going to make more money, which I wholeheartedly believe it will. This kind of new/old, if that makes sense. The stuff that they're putting out that's new/old, it's going to make more money. 100%. It will. Not only because now the sequel trilogy content has aged and people aren't as hungry for the stuff. This new timeline, if you want to call it that, is pumping out new content with new opportunities for new toys. People are really hyped on it. The hardcore fan base is happy about it. I just don't see any way where they don't continue this path. If they do link it up with the sequel trilogy, yeah, I would be bummed for sure. Just because it's like, I think I always had that like hope in my heart that it was going to do something else and we could see a different story, maybe a way that I thought it might go comparatively. Dude, Obsession, I'm doing everything. I see you shaking. I'm doing everything I can to not be like a douche right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
That's what
really
I'm looking at, dude. I'm not even. I'm like half listening to you. I'm looking for something else, and I'm just shaking my head because I can't find it. It has nothing to do with you.
Well,
He's like,
Don't be so.
Thanks-
don't be so
thanks for
sensitive.
being a part.
Grievous, you-
Thanks for being a
Grievous,
part of
you
the
made a
stream.
mistake.
Find a droid part for R2
I'm just
that
trying
we're
to,
talking
I'm
about.
trying to tread lightly here because this is supposed to be a positive Star Wars channel, but I'm just like, it's
Don't have
honestly,
shows.
I just
You
like,
don't have to
I
do
just,
show.
I don't want to see any more of it. I don't want to fucking hear about Rey. I'm done hearing about Rey. I don't want to hear anything more about Rey.
I don't think you're going to
this
hear
is some-
any more about Rey. I think you're going to hear about Luke and the connective tissue on how they got there. Like, I don't really think we're going to get Rey. I think the most we might get is like Palpatine clones or like that story.
I'm cool with that.
Where Operation Cinder, was it Operation Cinder?
Cinder,
His clones. Because I can't remember what book because I read it when I was younger. But one of the books, one of the storylines had Palpatine had a bunch of robots with like they were almost like Ninja Turtle crane brains, right? Where they just had like a holographic face, and then it was just,
that was
right.
Palpatine's final order. Was
Right.
and that's how he did it with Cinder.
Okay. So seeing some of that gets us to the sequels, I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay, and like I said, I'm okay with all of it. I don't care how they get us there.
Yeah.
Right. If they're forging a map slowly but surely between the now and then, I don't have a problem with it. And I think that a lot of people may because they hate the sequels. There's so much that they can't get behind in them. Dude, everybody love your own Star Wars. I don't.
Oh, that was
to
so
me,
good, Matt.
Yeah.
I don't. I missed it. To me, I don't. Yeah. But you enjoy your Star Wars, but I do think that, and I've said it a bunch of times, and I hope I'm wrong for your guys' sake, but I think that John and Dave are trying to forge a way forward and to kind of not make everybody happy, but at least give us a path to follow that leads us there if they're going there. I'm not saying they are, but all signs indicate, even the Grogu poster has Luke in his episode 7, 8, 9 robes.
You know, something that I find interesting.
wrong.
They have these books, and they're Disney. Okay, they're full on Disney books. They're like for kids, 5-minute Star Wars stories, and it's this big book that covers all this stuff. And we have one where it has like some prequels. You know, has actually a lot of prequels, majority prequel stories. Has some OT. And then it has like a good chunk of 7 and 8 for when this book came out, and we got it for 1 through 6 stories for a kid eventually. But then I saw that they released another one, and they had less prequel stories. They had majority OT, and they literally only had 2. This is like brand new. They only had 2 sequel stories in there. So I'm like, this is
Interesting.
I'm not gonna make like the videos about like breaking news, you know, they're abandoning the sequel trilogy because of this children's book. But it's just so interesting that it's like, why would you not keep doing a push for the stuff you made, you know?
Right.
Thanks,
there does
man.
seem to be a paradigm shift in kind of the attitude and what they're trying to push out of Lucasfilm, which seems interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everything that's coming out now is under the same, and I've said this before, this was what I was trying to get through to a couple of the other guys, is that the transition of power makes a big deal. It's a very big deal, right? The transition from Kathleen and Pablo to the transition of Dave and John, right? And that's a big handing of the reins, so to speak. So at this point, they're trying to focus on Filoni and Dave's vision of Star Wars right now. And yeah, they may be trying to put a little bit of a back burner to the sequels trilogy. I think eventually they're not going to just evaporate $1 billion sequels, right? So
yeah,
you know, they're not just going to abandon that. I mean, yeah, the merch isn't great, and yeah, it's not what it could be if they had done it right. But at the same time, They're not going to abandon all that and just say bye. So I feel like,
they will for money.
Right, and they're making money. But the Star Cruises, the Star Wars cruises or Galactic Tours or whatever it is, like you said, they just sunk a bunch of money into a sequel project.
Yeah,
right?
But the people that are going to buy that aren't going to go there to see Rey and Kylo.
Again, we'll see what the sales are like.
Yeah.
I mean, you and the nerds might not, and I might not, but there might be some little girl that's like, oh my God, there's a Jedi like me. Right.
Right.
And what the parents and the family are going there for.
Somebody clip that.
Clip it, baby.
Oh my God, there's a Jedi like me.
There's a Jedi like me out there, and I want to see her. Right. I mean, that's
Timothy brings up such a good point. Like, if the toys, this is such a big, and it always has been since the beginning of Star Wars. If the toys aren't selling, it's a pretty good indicator of the hype.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? Kids aren't buying the toys. Guess who's buying the toys?
Agreed.
And when you make a $40 action figure, I can promise you, like, it's the sweaties going out and buying them. A $40 action figure.
Well, when you put it out there,
something interesting,
and you make an adorable baby Yoda that you don't give a name to for 9 weeks or whatever it was, 8 weeks, you don't give us a name for, it creates a buzz, number one. And number two, how freaking cute is that Grogu? I mean, really?
Pretty cute.
Pretty damn cute. I mean,
I bought one.
Mothers, brothers, sisters, uncles, daughters, everybody wants them.
Yeah.
So that's, you come out with this. Let's regress a little bit. You come out with Mandalorian that introduces a sick genre of character. We've never got a lot of background story. I mean, we get a little bit of it in Rebels, but we don't really have a lot of live action Mandalorian action. So number one, you bring us some new property, some new interest, and then you throw the cutest thing that they probably built in Star Wars like ever. It's going to take so many sales away from what they had put out a couple years ago. If sales were already dwindling, sales weren't going to get any better for that with Grogu and Mando coming out.
So this is a little ugly.
Look at that mold. That is beautiful.
But this is what's so interesting. We're talking about toys not selling, right? Whenever I go to my local Fred Meyer, it's like a Kroger, basically big all-in-one shop. They always have like the Kylo and all this stuff. They always just have all the sequel characters, and they're on clearance and all of this. But I found it interesting that a Luke showed up. So like it's been sequel stuff forever. There's the Legos, which are different. There was like a random like Cara Dune Hot Wheel, which was like I didn't even know that would be allowed there. But I found it so interesting that, albeit a terrible looking Luke, but a Luke showed up. I didn't buy it because the eyes bothered me too much.
That is the most horrid thing I've seen in my life.
I think that would scare me more in my collection than make me smile.
But
I know,
it's
like you're streaming and you see the box just like turn at you.
That's your 1,000 sub giveaway right there.
That's it right there.
Cross-eyed Luke.
What's the guy from the Goonies?
Chunk. No,
hey, you guys.
Sloth
Luke.
Yeah.
Rocky Road.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough Luke. But yeah, I mean, in basically Jedi clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's his black attire in Return of the Jedi. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's his Jedi clothing.
Yeah, but this is what it means that when this isn't stuff they've been sitting on. So they actually, if you think about the whole chain, the business behind this, they had to reach out to a design team to design this. They had to reach out to manufacturing. They had to pay the money to get this made, packaging, shipping, distribution, all of this with no announcement because they know that Luke, this was the only one there because they know that Luke Skywalker would sell. He sold better than everyone else that's there. And here's what's crazy too. I know. we're looking at birthday stuff for. We're gonna have our son's first birthday be Star Wars themed. But there's like a Star Wars like birthday cake topper set, and they have Cara Dune in these topper sets.
I just bought a Cara Dune action figure,
and so it's even interesting to see like Cara Dune stuff being sold.
These comments are fucking killing me right now.
Merry Christmas.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
And you didn't buy it?
No.
That's
Take
a
a picture.
$40 action figure to me, dude. All day.
That's hilarious.
Here, wait. I can do this. Oh.
Oh man.
Oh, that's gonna be a custom emoji for sure.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
Bust out the coins, boys. No, you got to get his whole head. This is gonna be such a good emoji. Oh man, I am dying right now. That Luke needs his targeting computer. Oh no. Ooh. Okay. All right.
Extreme close up.
Boy, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like you were saying, somebody took the time to put this out on the market.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And
somebody-
it's-
yeah.
And it's sold. That's the one. That's the one.
Oh, Padawannabe.
Oh, that's awesome.
You're exactly the way I remember you.
Oh.
Woo. Woo. Damn, chat. Fucking sending in the bangers tonight.
Yes.
Oh, that killed me.
I just
All
feel.
right.
All right, so hold on. I'm gonna change gears a little bit and digress.
All right.
So, here is the scene of Anakin pulling up to Padme's, and if you look, R2's already in the shuttle when he's getting out, right?
No, that's his Jedi fighter.
Right. But so where would his Jedi fighter be stored when he's coming from the Jedi Temple?
Well, he doesn't leave in his fighter from
Right.
the
but
Jedi
he's gotta
Temple.
go back to the Jedi Temple to get it, right?
Yeah, so R2 would stay with 3PO.
Well, what I'm saying is here, 3PO was with Padme, but R2
Yeah.
wasn't with Padme. So R2 didn't leave here, go get the
Well,
starship.
he might get out later.
So I feel like here in that scene, that tells me R2 was with the ship, or at least at the temple, and could have possibly gone and got our little friend Grogu.
With the starship.
No, just being at the temple, like seeing the chaos and going and maybe running across him, and maybe
Okay. So
him
then,
seeing clones, not necessarily seeing Anakin killing the younglings, but
Right.
more seeing clones killing the younglings, and then maybe running across him and like putting him in I don't know, a pod or a speeder, and just programming it to go somewhere, you know. So that's the only that's what I'm saying is I kind of feel like R2 could have been Grogu's savior during Order 66, being at the temple, not knowing what Anakin was really doing, and then you know, helping out Grogu, programming a speeder to say go anywhere but here, and then one of the Jedi might have found him. That's what I was looking for.
All right.
Um,
I can at least agree that's a possibility. 100%.
I'm just saying theory. I mean, that's something that I would like to. That's something I'll probably make a video on, just because that's something just the way that he reacted at the season finale of Mando was pretty.
It was curious.
Both parties were really excited. R2 got really, really excited.
Yeah.
You know, started doing
But
his.
you could also say that he just remembers like Yoda's species or something, right?
Yeah, but I don't think R2 would get that excited about somebody he didn't know, right? Usually it was about people like Chewbacca or, you know, those kind of people that he would get excited to see because he knew him. But this is somebody I feel like he, oh, you survived. Hey, fuck, I survived too. All right, we survived. Felt like it was one of those moments. Oh, it's been so many years. You survived. I survived. Let's go. Right. Let's high five. Hop on, homie.
All right, we got 30 seconds. Plug your channels right now.
Cool. Well, we have daily content that we are coming out with. Some long form, some shorts, 60 seconds and under form. And yeah, that's it. We have a live stream tonight. We're giving away something. So show up.
Awesome. Me too.
Go stub up to the homie.
Go get your poster. Go get your entry. Go to the Discord. I'm giving away this poster tomorrow evening. This is the Luke and Grogu poster. If you don't have an entry, get over there. Get to my channel. It'll tell you how to get entry. Go to the Discord and do it.
Do it. All right. Everybody have a good night. I hope I see you over on ADHD for the watch party. We're doing Evil Ewoks with Cat LaSalle and everybody. So
nice.
That's it for us. Another wonderful Boomer Council. Thank you, boys, for being here so much. I enjoy these.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're cool. Thanks for having me.
That's going to be it.
Bye.
Ciao, and may the force be with you